All right. Have you ever wanted to create your own podcast? Today, we have a crazy service that I want to talk about, and you're going to love this because this actually really allows you to make AI very customized podcasts that I think there's a lot of potential for, and you can just do it in minutes. So there's an intro video here, but what I want to do is just show you they have all these different podcasts that you can check out and see. We've got a whole page with it. And this is, I haven't seen this one before, but this is, again, something that can certainly catch someone's eye in the podcast store and listen to it. So these are pretty short, but let's just see how it starts. This also generates video for you as well.
Let's talk about TikTok. It's impossible to ignore at this point, right? It's this cultural juggernaut where trends explode seemingly out of nowhere. And conspiracy theories, they've found the perfect breeding ground there.
All right, cool. So that's one. This is a totally different one here.
Instinctively. When we think of desperation, true desperation, it's hard not to instinctively picture someone at the edge of their wits, making choices they'd never have thought possible. In the tale of Hansel and Gretel.
This is a story-based podcast, and I think this would be great with a little bit of intro music. Some of them have intro music. This one, in fact, I don't find when you play this actually has AI Suno that did the first part of the intro music.
Push play, get ready to jump. And into facts, I don't know your mind.
That's AI generated audio.
Season 1. 20 episodes of odd, wild, and downright truly one for the archives.
Hey, I bring the full experience, feathers and all. But seriously, 20 episodes? That's like the degree in trivia nonsense.
Maybe even a master's.
So I don't think those voices work great together, but you can see how they're actually interplaying with each other. And that's the cool thing here. You can do the script as well. And I just want to play this one as well. And then let's get into how it works.
When we talk about burns, they're classified into 4 main degrees, each based on how deep they go and the specific epidermis and part of the dermis.
So this is just very content dense, but you can see if someone was taking a class on this or wanted to learn about it, this is an interesting way to create new and unique content. And yeah, I just think it's pretty cool. So they have some Explore podcasts where you can actually see all these podcasts, and they have some of them that you can see are set up so it looks like it's real people. Some people actually, you can do this for your own blog post. You could make your own blog post and have your own AI voice read your own blog posts and be able to reach a new audience that way. Some of them are obviously more AI generated. So there's a whole wide range of this one. This one's got 38 episodes of the AI news summary. So it's pretty interesting. Now, in terms of features, this is really important here. And we'll get into, I think the real key of this is the voices and the customization interplay. That's what really makes this difference. And you may be watching this video and be interested in AI podcasts and be able to tell what's AI and what's not. But a lot of people don't, particularly when there's this level of meshing between the voices and the content. So you can clone your own voice or design your own voice with a backstory. And I'll get to that. You don't want to miss that part. That's going to be pretty cool. You can upload your sources. So this is like Notebook LM. And then what it's going to do is it can create a high-level outline of your episode. And then you can click, expand on the details. I want to focus on this. So it really allows you to have that granular customization to create something pretty awesome. So they're going to have a conversational dialogue with natural pauses and interjections. You can see that they're using their specific name. They're going to name the podcast and say the name of the podcast in it, mention what episode it is, all that kind of stuff. And you can tweak your transcript, add some intro music, that sort of thing with the text editor. So this is very interesting as well. And they also supply the infrastructure so you can just push it out. You don't need to open a separate account. It's going to be pushed out to all these different podcast options. And they even create a video for it. You saw those videos that were mostly just static images, but you can export a video. So you've got something ready to go on YouTube as well, which again is a real goldmine, something I'm a big fan of. So when you go to the AI voices, you can see all of the voices here and you can toggle by genders. But I just want to play some of these because I think that this is really important.
This is a mature Indian voice that you can use for voiceovers and dialogue deliveries. Thank you. This is a mature Indian voice.
Okay, that sounds like pretty interesting, right?
スイスの観光地として人気の高いユングフラウ鉄道。
人は愛によって最も強く、最も若く。
The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
There's just a ton of different voices here. So that's what's really interesting about it. And then when it comes to the podcast generator, you can describe, this is just an outside, would go on the inside, but basically you could just describe your episode and it will create a podcast just from a prompt. However, I would really spend more time in the ideation phase of how you're going to do this. You can clone your own voice here, and this is how you would do that. So you can clone your own voice. So clear audio samples without background noise. And you can use a microphone, do it right now. And it also says vary your tone and emotion and speaking speed, because that's what's going to allow it to make it more realistic and stuff. That's interesting. So you can upload 2 to 3 minutes of total audio and up to 10 samples. So it doesn't need to be these long things. And then you just check this box and boom, you have a voice clone. They also have the professional voices. So we looked at some of these. As I said, this is one page of 15. So there's a lot of different voices.
This is everyday conversational voice. Great uses for pretty much anything. This is
right. So some of these voices, they have this kind of nuance in this and this pause, which makes it very interesting and intriguing.
Kindness is more important than wisdom, and the recognition of this is the beginning of wisdom. Kindness is more important.
Sorry. So they're short samples, but you can see they're just pages and pages of very specific ones. Here, a raspy male voice in Jamaican accent.
Hi there. I'm here to help your new podcast project.
Pretty interesting, right? So you can also generate a host, right? And so you can pick the gender, male or female, and then you describe them, right? So you see here, they have an example, a 35-year-old Australian hiker with a passion for window and geopolitics. It's the same methodology that actors use when they get into a role. They will sometimes live as that character and really get into that role and make up backstories and things that have brought them to that place where they're acting and in the context of the story, because it informs how they would make these little reactions and stuff. And that's what I think really is awesome about this. Back to the dashboard, you can just click create a new podcast and you can upload the art. Now, Canva is a great place to do this. They actually have templates that are podcast, and you really just want a square podcast. You can put in the title and then the language of your podcast, right? So that's another interesting thing. And keep in mind, this is the same principle as YouTube. You want something that maybe has a keyword, but it's got to have the hook, right? So the hook is even more important than the keyword, and then a description. So this can be quite long because this actually shows on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other platforms. You get to choose a subdomain here. Now with a custom domain, you can put it on your own domain. If you're using the Jellypod domain, obviously you want this to have some kind of branding, but also some keywords. And then you can link to a website and your YouTube channel and all that kind of stuff. And you can create the podcast that way. So that's what's really interesting about it. But I just want to share this with you because I think this is a fantastic tool, because when you get to the next step and you're actually like designing the podcast and how it all works, that's really fun because it can generate the podcast, have those two speakers interact in a way that's very natural and give you an interesting podcast. So I have some ideas here, but I'm going to be going through that a bit later just so I can play around with it and actually create a podcast, because it's something that I'm actually going to be doing. And I wanted to share it with you. If you're as excited as I am, I'll drop a link in the description and you can certainly check it out. But yeah, this is something, Jellypod AI, it's the premier way to really create content. I think it's particularly in the age of AI, being able to reach out where people are busy and they can listen on audio, it adds that extra platform where you can reach your audience, where you can build an audience, and then again, tie it into your website and maybe put an opt-in form there, generate leads. That's a really interesting and intriguing way to do things, particularly for just about anyone, because once you have the structure set up of the podcast, you've designed the host and you have the flow, it's very quick to generate a new podcast. Anyhow, Jellypod AI, I'm in love with it. And I think you will be too if you try it out. So give it a try.